Greetings to all from Spring Hill, Tennessee, which is about 40 minutes, 35 to 40 minutes, depending on traffic, south of Nashville, Tennessee. And I am at the Rippa Plantation. I'm going to read a little bit from the visitor information pamphlet that I got. You know, there's a small fee that you pay to visit here. Includes a tour of the house, but I didn't pay attention to how much that cost because I got a free ticket. Hooray for free tickets! But I'll see if I can get that to you before the end of this video. And it says Rippa Villa and the Chairs family have been part of the Spring Hill and Maury County story since the early 1800s. The Greek Revival style home that stands today was built in the mid 1850s by Nate Chairs, who served as a major in the 3rd Tennessee Infantry during the Civil War. He and his wife Susan were one of the wealthiest families in the region, along with families like the Thompsons and the Polks. You might remember that name, Polk, President Polk. That's where he comes from. His house is actually down in Columbia, the President Polk's home, and maybe I'll try to get down there sometime. Large numbers of enslaved people and substantial agricultural production were the bedrock of farms like Rippa Villa. During the war, the Battle of Spring Hill unfolded across the property on November 29th, 1864. So this is the Rippa Villa Plantation and the house, and let me let you take a look at the surrounding area. You can probably hear the traffic because it is built next to a major highway. This is the highway that connects Spring Hill and Columbia. Well, connects a lot of other things too. And then in the background there, I'm not sure if you can see it, that's the old Saturn plant, the GM plant. And they built this. That's what really put Spring Hill, Tennessee on the map, is when they first came out, when GM first came out with the Saturn car years ago. They built this huge plant out there, and so it created a lot of jobs, and a lot of people moved to this area. Now they do electric car batteries, so that's what I'm told anyway. And we'll kind of pan around this way, and then we are back to the main house. And so you basically pay for the tour in the house. I'm not allowed to take video or pictures in the house, which is a real crying shame, but we'll get some video of the grounds for you, because you can wander all over the grounds and the outside of the house. All right, so let's see what else we can learn. Maybe we'll go over to that gazebo over there. Who likes gazebos? Well, let's try out the gazebo. Here's another shot of the house. And I'll continue to read from they give you a really nice brochure when you purchase your ticket. It's got a lot of good information in it, so I'll be sharing some of that with you. By the 1980s, Rippa Villa was still surrounded by a largely rural setting. The house and the land around it were transformed by, and this is something I already mentioned, the arrival of General Motors. A movement soon began to preserve the historic home, and a restoration of the house ensued over the years. 98 adjacent acres of the Chairs property have been preserved along with the house. In addition, 84 acres to the north have been preserved by the American Battlefield Trust. And so all over this area, because we're not too far from Franklin, there was a Civil War battle of Spring Hill, and then of course there was the Battle of Franklin. And then if you go a few miles east of here, I believe it is Murfreesboro. And what you're going to find there, as we enter the gazebo here, what you're going to find over in Murfreesboro is the Stones River National Battlefield, which I did do a video on that as well. So a lot of Civil War battles had taken place here. But the biggest battle was the fight to preserve this place from the big corporations. No, I'm just kidding. That wasn't the biggest battle. The Civil War buffs know the truth. Here's the side of the house here. This really is a neat place, and it's neat that the historical societies work to preserve these things. We can kind of walk around this way. I'm a little bummed though that we can't take pictures inside the house or videos. That's a bit disappointing. But it is what it is. What are you gonna do? We'll walk through here. Got an old barn back there. Got another section here. I've been here once before, and they were doing some remodeling and stuff as they've been trying to restore this place. And if I remember correctly, I think this was the kitchen and stuff that was kind of added on later, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Boy, you really got this beautiful country here. There is not a dull drive in Tennessee, because all the drives, you know, when you, even on a lot of interstates, once you get out of Nashville, get out of the cities, they all look like this. Everything's green. And you know, I learned something new yesterday. You want to know? Sure you do. As we walk towards this other gazebo here, the thing I learned yesterday is people drive on their yards all the time. They're always driving on the grass. But you know, they don't need sprinklers, so no one cares. So we were in a driveway, and it was on a busy street, and so rather than try to back out in reverse on this busy street where there was a blind corner, my friend says, hey, just do a U-turn here in the grass in the front yard. They won't care. And they didn't. People do that all the time. People even park their cars on the grass. I thought that was kind of a, kind of a redneck thing. It might be in some places, but in reality, it's not a big deal because they don't have sprinklers. Because it rains so much here. That's what I've been told. So if you have a different take, don't troll me in the comments. I'm just telling you what I've been told. And it's kind of interesting. Let's look at the clouds. There's supposed to be thunderstorm. Well, a chance of thunderstorms later today. So I wanted to get here and take a look at this stuff early. All right, so we're in this other gazebo here. I'm wondering if they, here's another look at the house and the property there. I'll have to ask someone if they do like special events here and stuff. I wouldn't be surprised. They've got this little stage down here or something. They've got 2 gazebos. It's very possible that you could rent this. That you could rent this out for, this place out for different functions and parties and perhaps weddings. Who knows? So I'll have to look into that. But it is a beautiful place. So even though you can't take video inside the house, you can look around, walk around the property, and then it's a pretty big property. So you're gonna have to get in your car and then you head out along the cornfield here, and it takes you all the way back to the back of the property. And the family plots, the family cemetery is back there somewhere. And it's way beyond those trees. It's quite a ways back there. And take a look at this barn. We might go peek inside there. It says the construction date of this barn is uncertain, but its foundation is likely pre-war, even if the structure has post-war qualities. The barn and everything around it saw a daily whirl of activity and sound. Well, you can just imagine that, can't you? Sure you can. Just imagine. Today it provides a quiet reminder of the enslaved who work here, the freedmen who later toiled in and around it, and the wide variety of animals that were once part of the backbone of this place. And we got this little cabin back here. Let's see if we can find out what this is about. This is the old Freedmen's Bureau School that was originally located on Greens Mill Road, and it was donated by the Ron Schuff family. So I'm not clear as to if this is an original, or I'm thinking it might be a replica. Or did they move it here? It's not real clear. It sounds like sounds like it's a replica. But that's pretty cool. And then we've got the backside of the barn right here. And what was this? Maybe an outhouse? You got the old Civil War era drinking fountains. Oh yeah. Outhouse up. All right, let's walk back towards the house. Okay, there's a information sign here. This is the Rippa Villa Smokehouse. And so there's a sign here that talks, this is also where the restrooms are located if you're ever visiting here. And it says the smokehouse was so essential to the farm that it was often one of the first buildings constructed. So in farms, they often did build the smokehouse first. And such was the case here at Rippa Villa. The smokehouse and kitchen, I thought they were added on later, but it says that the smokehouse and kitchen were built at the same time as the house. Because of the great value of its contents, the smokehouse was sometimes padlocked. Have me the padlock! The building you see today has been altered over the decades to accommodate changing needs, but it provides a valuable connection to the families who once lived, worked, and ate here. So it's been altered over the years, and that's probably why I thought that it was added on later. So again, I came here a few years ago and took the tour, and so I got some information. I couldn't remember everything, so I think I misunderstood that they had just modified some things, but it was actually built the same time as the house. So this may not have probably didn't look exactly like this at the time the house was constructed. All right, I just did the tour, and that was really cool. You got to see inside the house. They're doing a lot of restoration work because there were so many changes to the house over the years. Even though it was 3 generations of the same family, each family member who took over wanted to modernize it. So a lot of it has been converted to more colonial aspects, and then even some plumbing was added and electricity in the 1920s. So they're working to restore a lot of it. I am thankful for the electricity because it's air conditioned, and you definitely need that here in the South. Especially today, it's quite a warm day. Not too bad in the shade here, but you get out in that sun, and of course inside it gets all stuffy in there. So it was really good to have that air conditioning. This here would have been the family entrance. Over in the front where we were at the beginning of the video, that's the visitor entrance. So families and close friends would get to come in this way. And of course you've got the courtyard over here and a garage that was added later on. And so I had talked about how I didn't realize the kitchen and smokehouse had been built when the house was. I thought it was added later. I found out again during the tour that it was modified, of course, by members of the family as they took over ownership of the home. But this little section right here next to the butler's pantry, this is the part that was added so it would be joined with the kitchen and smokehouse. When the house was originally built, this section right here didn't exist. The kitchen and smokehouse were separate from the house itself. So it's a good tour. It takes you about an hour to go on the tour, and they share a lot of information about the family and about this property's proximity and its involvement in the battles of Spring Hill and the Battle of Franklin. So definitely worth the visit. Got this little statue here. Little kid saying, "Talk to the hand." Yeah, you don't have to give me that kind of attitude. All right. So we're gonna hop in the car now and we're gonna drive and explore the property a little bit more. Alrighty then, we are in the car and we're gonna take a drive through the rest of the property, see what else we can find. It's awfully hot. I kind of wanted to go out in that cornfield, but I might die. So I rather not die. So the slave cabins are down out here, where the slaves lived was way out here, and you can take this little gravel road to and from the area. So of course the slaves were very far away from the main house, and they said that at one point there were 73 enslaved persons here at Rippa Villa. And then of course through the course of the Civil War, well, when the Emancipation Proclamation was signed and they got word of that, 9 of them left right away and went and joined the Union in fighting. And then eventually it just by the time the war was ended, I think they only had like 9 people here, 13 or 9 people. They give you a lot of information and it's kind of hard to keep track of all of it. So definitely worth it. They give you a nice brochure that you can look at, so you're going to get some information from that. And now we're at this fork in the road. So where do we go? I think we're going to go up to the right here. We're going to go up to the right. No, I don't know if that's the right thing to do. I just saw, yeah, there's a sign over here kind of hidden in the bushes. So we'll go this way. We'll go this other way. Not sure what's over there. So slave cabins, cemeteries, brown stand, and event barn. Oh, so they do have events here. I forgot to ask about that, but it appears that the sign has answered the question for me. Well, I tell you, beautiful country. And this gate's locked at 3:30 p.m. Like I was saying earlier, though, there is no boring drive in Tennessee that I've found yet. I mean, I guess if you're in the cities, you're going to see nothing but city. But you come out here and you just see beautiful country. I mean, just look at that. Just take that in. Boy, that would make a great corn maze in the autumn. But of course, this is all protected. They are working again to restore that house, and they're just trying to protect this whole area, preserve it for history. There are several other places that you can visit in and around this area. Of course, there's the Battle of Spring Hill site. That's just down the road a little bit. And they've got, I did another video of a place here a couple years ago. And so there's lots of places I still haven't seen yet. But wanted to come back to this. Well, I came back to this one because I had a free ticket. So free is always the best price. But it's not a very expensive tour. And I'll make sure to find what the normal cost is and put that information in the description here in the video. So let's see what we get coming up right here. You just get to listen to me blabber and on, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I love this. I've mentioned this before, how I love, like, well, I call them tree tunnels, but just when the growth of the trees just kind of grows over the road. Oh, I love that. So nice little drive. It's not going to be too hard on your tires or anything. Oh, watch me say that and get a flat tire. Hope I didn't jinx myself. So it looks like there's a stop up here. We'll see what that's all about. Hope you're enjoying this. I sure am. Enjoying it more now that I'm in my air-conditioned car. Okay, let's see. We'll see what this is. Looks like there's another little road there. Well, that's one critique I might make, is it's not always very clear where you're supposed to go next. You just follow the tire tracks. All right, there's a sign up here. I'm going to read it. All right, this area here is basically where the family originally settled. It says in April 1811, Nathaniel Cheers, by the way, he's not Nate, he goes by Nat. That was my mistake. He purchased 300 acres from Leroy Pope for about $1,800. And what we're doing right now is we are standing on the northern portion of the tract. So this is where the northern portion of the tract where they originally settled. And so they basically built some small houses here. So there were, I think, 3 homes in this vicinity originally. So it didn't all start with the big house up at the front of the property. Modest beginnings. All right, we're on the right track. So there's the barns off to the, yeah, you probably saw a little bit of that. If you didn't see it, the barn is there, and that is an event barn. So you can rent out this area here. I'll show you something real quick. Where I'm staying while I'm out here is in this neighborhood that's right there on the other side of that hill. So that's where the property edge is. And so a couple blocks into that neighborhood is where I'm staying with some friends. And so it's pretty neat that their neighborhood actually borders on this property of Rippa Villa. So we go down here, we'll see the slave cabin. I think they had more. I don't remember whether this is a replica or not. Boy, it looks like the road, okay, it's gonna turn. It looked like it was just gonna head right into those trees. And you know what? I'm game for that. You know, I'm a risk taker. So here's a slave cabin. I'm staying here in the comfort of my air-conditioned car right now. You can't really go in it anyway. Now, of course, they had lots of these. This is just one that is left. And so you imagine this whole area back here at the back of the property is where these cabins were, where the slave quarters were for Rippa Villa. All right, so we're going to continue on. I believe this road just kind of loops around. So we'll see. We shall see. I got someone behind me now. Now they're stopping to look at the slave cabin too. Good. Now I can make my getaway. I like to be by myself on these excursions. Boy, this is really beautiful. But you imagine owning all this property, and then what are you going to do with it all? Well, of course, they grew stuff on it and made money off of that. But I mean, if you just had it and you weren't, yeah, I mean, sometimes people today, they have so much and they don't even know what to do with it all. So off to the left here is the family graveyard. We'll stop and take a look at that. Now, I guess it doesn't loop around, so we're going to have to go back. We're going to have to go back this way. So here we are at the family cemetery here. This is the guy who started it all, Nathaniel Cheers. He was 82 years old when he died. Most of the Cheers family lived long, full lives, according to the tour guide. Not all of them. This poor fellow looks like he was just 26. And then over here, you got this other area. Oh, let's see what this is about. What's really pretty here. You want to have a picnic next to a graveyard? You could do that right there. All right, let's see what's over here. Here lies persons unknown, removed from Haynes Haven land, reinterred with reverence at this site, this 10th day of November 1986. So they don't know who's in these graves here. All right, whoops, just stepped in a squirrel hole there. So Rippa Villa, beautiful place, highly recommend. I'd recommend that you visit all the Civil War sites, even though I haven't made videos of all of them. I've been to several, and they're neat places, rich in the history of the Civil War, and some of the just local history of the people who own these places. So definitely somewhere you're going to want to visit if you come to, Nashville area, and then this is not too far from Nashville, about 35-40 minutes away. This is in Spring Hill, again, Rippa Villa. But then just up the road in Franklin, you've got the Battle of Franklin sites, and then there's another plantation up there that you can visit. All right, my friends, that was the Rippa Villa plantation, historical plantation and grounds. So we're coming back to the main house, and where the visitor center, well, the small little visitor area is. And they got a little bookstore in there, a lot of Civil War books you can get. So the prices of the tour and access to the grounds is posted. I told you I wouldn't forget, so there it is. There it is on the screen, right there. See it? All right. So I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. It was a beautiful day to be here, and we're getting out of here just in time. Looks like there's some thunderstorms getting ready to head this way. So that's such is life here in Middle Tennessee and in the South. You can have a lot of thunderstorms kind of hit you somewhere during the day. Sometimes all day, sometimes just in the afternoons and evenings. So, plan accordingly. Check the weather. All right, I hope you enjoyed it, everybody. And be sure to like and subscribe. Yeah, I'm one of those YouTubers now. All right, take care. Bye.